is back. Yes, I have a bump right here. Ignore that. And he's ready for war. So let's watch some Donald J. Trump classics to end your night or to start your morning, depending on where you are. That's just my toothpaste. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to adjust it here, and here we go.
McDonald's and go back to the negotiating table. Seriously. I know the greatest
Seriously.
in the world. Some are horrible people, horrible human beings. Who cares? I love them. I like China. People think I don't like China. I love China. I just sold an apartment for $15 million to somebody from China. How can I dislike China? I go to China. China loves me. We live off Chinese manufacturing, whether we like it or not. That's because when you say we, you are stupid. They just devalued their currency the other day. They call it a sucking action. They're sucking the jobs and the money right out of our country. That's what they're doing. These dummies say, oh, well, that's a trade war. Trade war? We're losing $500 billion in trade with China. Who the hell cares if there's a trade war? I would certainly start taxing goods that come in from China. So you lost them, but I do want to understand that. It's not that complicated, actually.
Donald Trump's candidacy is a cancer on conservatism, and it must be clearly diagnosed, excised, and discarded.
I see Rick Perry the other day, and he's so, he's doing very poorly in the polls. He put glasses on so people will think he's smart.
Donald Trump does not have the character, nor does he have the temperament.
It just doesn't work. People can see through the glasses.
He offers a barking carnival act.
I have many millions between Facebook and Twitter. It's great. It's like owning a newspaper without the losses. It's incredible. So I tweeted that Rick Perry should have to have an IQ test before getting on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is the system. He and Hillary Clinton are two sides of the same coin. She's made her millions selling access and influence, and he's made his billions buying people like Hillary Clinton off.
Carly was a little nasty to me. Be careful, Carly. Be careful.
Donald Trump isn't a conservative.
But I can't say anything to her because she's a woman, and I don't want to be accused of being tough on women. I can't do that, right?
Trump was watching Fox News with a Rolling Stone reporter for this week's cover story.
Can I do that? Women, am I allowed to fight back? Huh? Am I allowed?
Look at that face. Why would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that's the face of our next president? I mean, she's a woman. I'm not supposed to say bad things, but really, folks, come on. Are we serious?
Ladies, look at this face.
Probably I did say something like that about Carly. I'm talking about persona. I'm not talking about look. Although when I get criticized for my hair, which isn't that bad, nobody does a story about, oh, isn't it terrible they criticized Donald Trump's hair. And by the way, look, it really is mine, right? Look at me, right? Right here. Give me a mirror. I promised I wouldn't say that she ran Hewlett-Packard into the ground. I said I will not say it. The company is a disaster and continues to be a disaster. They still haven't recovered. That her stock value tanked. That she laid off tens of thousands of people. In fact, today on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, they fired another 25 or 30,000 people saying we still haven't recovered from the catastrophe. And she got viciously fired. I said I will not say that. Carly was at Lucid before that. And Lucid turned out to be a catastrophe also. So I only say this. She can't run any of my companies.
You were forced to file for bankruptcy, not once,
I never filed
not
for
twice, 4 times.
Caesars just filed for bankruptcy. Almost everybody in Atlantic City is either in trouble or filed for bankruptcy. Maybe I'll blend this.
Well,
Atlantic City is a disaster. Wait a minute, Carly. Wait. I'll let you speak. Why does she keep interrupting everybody? Yeah.
Just maybe I'm getting under his skin a little bit because I am climbing to the polls.
But a new CNN ORC poll shows Fiorina making little progress.
We have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, excuse me, The reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money, I don't need their money, and I'm the only one up here that can say that. Jeb Bush had $168 million put in the bank by lots of different people that would have controlled him, ding, 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 like a puppet.
A standard operating procedure to disparage me? That's fine. I don't really
Spend a little more money on the commercials. And they'll say, they gave you $1 million to your campaign, and this one gave you $5 million, and this one, you have to do it. You know what he's going to say? Okay, I'll do it. You have lobbyists that have a sign, it says Hillary, it's emblazoned, right? Tattooed, it's tattooed right on their forehead. It says Hillary. Basically what they're saying is, I control Clinton. Politicians are all talk and no action. It's true. All talk, it's all yet. Politicians are really dishonest. Yeah. We have a breaking story. Donald Trump has fallen to second place behind Ben Carson. We informed Ben, but he was sleeping. Frankly, he makes Bush look like the Energizer Bunny. Ben Carson is super low energy, right? It's super. He's super low. He wrote a book. He said he's got pathological disease. Okay. That's a problem to me. If you're pathological, there's no cure for that, folks. As an example, child molester. You don't cure a child molester. There's no cure for it. Pathological, there's no cure for that.
The word pathological, that does not denote incurable. It's not the same.
He said he hit or tried to hit his mother over the head with a hammer. I didn't. Me? Mary McLeod? No way. If you try and hit your mother over the head with a hammer, your poll numbers go up. Read the definition in the dictionary of pathological disease.
It simply is an adjective that describes something that is highly abnormal.
When he said he hit a friend of his in the face with a lock, with a padlock, I say, whoa, that's pretty bad. He took a knife, and he went after a friend, and he lunged that knife into the stomach of his friends, but lo and behold, it hit the belt. And don't forget, this is in his book. I'm not bringing up anything that's not in his book. I have a belt. Somebody hits me with a belt's going in because the belt moves this way. It moves this way. It moves that way. How stupid are the people of Iowa? How stupid are the people of the country to believe this crap?
When you talk about Mexicans being rapists and murderers, when you talk to women, if he had spoken to your wife the way he's spoken to some of these women, would you take that, sir?
When you're very nice, you're very respectful, you talk about the real issues, where does it get you? It gets you where it got me. Nowhere, okay?
No. So is that what this is about?
He's very, very weak on immigration. Remember his statement? They come for love. I said, what? Half of them are criminals. I mean, they're coming for love? They're coming for a lot of other reasons.
These are people that are coming to provide for their families. And we should show a little more respect for the fact that they're struggling.
The weakest person on this stage by far on illegal immigration is Jeb Bush. They come out of an act of love, whether you like it or not. He is so weak.
Mr. Trump said, quote, if my wife were from Mexico, I think I would have a soft spot for people from Mexico.
Mi esposa Columba nació en México. Mi familia tiene fuertes lazos con México.
When you were governor, you supported driver's licenses for illegal immigrants, and you supported in-state tuition prices for those children of illegal immigrants that weren't citizens.
Gracias a las personas que vienen de todas partes del mundo, contribuyendo a
The
nuestra
hell?
economía.
I didn't know he spoke Spanish.
Porque todos somos americanos.
Did Mr. Trump go too far in invoking your wife?
He did. Why don't you apologize for her?
You know, I want to
right
do that
now.
because I said nothing wrong, but I do hear she's a lovely woman.
You can say, I'm sorry as I could be that we did what we did to you.
You know, I haven't been big on apologizing. You do know that, right? They complain Trump never apologizes. I'll look into it. I'm going to look into it. Okay, let's go. One more. Come on. We want a good one. Give me a fun one.
You have criticized Governor Bush for speaking Spanish on the campaign trail.
Eres idiota, o estúpido, o que no tienen energía, bla, bla, bla.
We have a country where to assimilate you have to speak English.
This is a diverse country. We should celebrate that diversity.
Siempre recordar que todavía no hemos tenido un país de justicia completa.
English, not Spanish.
You can get her out, get her. You know, she looks just like Hillary Clinton. Hillary wants to find out how do you get these crowds, right?
We don't need Jay-Z to fill up arenas, you know.
Get him out. Thank you, officer. Thank you. Don't hurt him, don't hurt him.
I was very gentle. And then they said I was weak. Okay, I was weak. And the last thing I want to be called is weak.
Bye. Go home to mommy. Go home to mommy. Tell her to tuck you in bed. And your mother is voting for Trump. She's voting for Trump. I mentioned food stamps, and that guy who's seriously overweight went crazy. And they said that wasn't politically correct. Who cares? We all have a weight problem. Yeah, get him out. Get him the hell out of here. Why did you do it a little earlier, you dope? I think he's got some problems. Got some little problems there. Get him out. Go home and get a job. Get a job. You see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of him, would you? I will pay for the legal fees, I promise. He's walking out like big high fives, smiling, laughing, like to punch him in the face. I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. Would have been boom, boom, boom. Keep that. You have the nicest protesters in Maine. I just said, get out. And he said, yes, sir. And he left. Quiet, quiet, quiet. All right, let him come on. Quiet. Get out. Thank you. Quiet over there. Even though you're on my side, be quiet. Throw him out. Throw him out into the cold. Don't give them their coat. No coat. Get him the hell out of here. Get him out. Troublemaker. Get him out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go. Boom, boom. Go home. Get him out of here.
You have one of those guys from the Hillary Clinton campaign.
How much you being paid? $1,500?
Take him out.
Come on, get him out, police, please. We'll get more and more angry as we go along. Is that right?
We're making a deal with Iran, and we're fighting Iran in Yemen. When you make the deal, aren't you supposed to sort of solve everything? And Kerry said he didn't want to bring it up because he didn't want to complicate the negotiation. This guy's an idiot.
$400 million being flown to Iran. This is in cash, in currency. It's a disgrace. I wonder where that money really goes, by the way, right? He doesn't even call to get our hostages back from Iran. Secretary Kerry, I highly think you should read this book quickly. Quickly! Once those hostages landed, about 2 seconds later, fellas, how you doing? Everything good? Listen, 150 billion? Sorry, we don't have the money. We owe $19 trillion. We don't have it. I mean, here's a guy goes on a bicycle to go on a bicycle race. He's 73 years old. He's in a bicycle race. And he's got all this stuff on. He's got the whole deal. The company, the whole deal, the helmet.
A quick spin through the Swiss Alps following negotiations on Iran's nuclear policy went awry for U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry.
He falls, he breaks his leg during the negotiation.
He was flown by medical helicopter to Geneva's main hospital.
This is our chief negotiator. He's walking in. They're looking at him like, what a schmuck. I swear to you, I will never be in a bicycle race as long as I'm president. I call it hard mentally. It was unbelievable. He was like a little boy. Oh, I'm with the president. Remember, he flew in the helicopter and he was all excited. I said, I would have put you in my helicopter. It's much nicer. And I watched these two guys, and they're hugging, and they're kissing, and they're holding each other. I actually called. I said, let me ask you, is he going to vote for Obama? I thought he was going to vote for Obama. I don't know. I think he possibly did.
Donald's a great guy and a good person, but I just don't think he's suited to be president of the United States.
What?
And now I guess he feels a little bit emboldened. He must be careful with what he said.
I don't think his temperament is suited for that. I don't think his experience is.
Chris, tonight we're closing up the George Washington Bridge because the mayor of a certain area is against you. Oh, okay. People couldn't get across for 6-7 hours. Ambulances, fire trucks. He knew about it. He knew about it. He totally knew about it. 9 downgrades of the state. 9 downgrades. It's a disaster.
I have property over there. The taxes, I'll use an expression, coming out of my ears, okay? Nabisco leaving Chicago with their big plant. They're moving to Mexico. I'm not eating Oreos anymore. You know that. But neither is Chris. You're not eating Oreos anymore.
And that's why I'm proud to introduce to you the next president of the United States, Donald Trump.
He is Lyin Ted, but you have to spell it right. Lyin apostrophe Lyin Ted.
Right now, today, as a candidate, he supports federal taxpayer funding for Planned Parenthood. I disagree with him on that. That's a matter of principle, and I'll
Single
tell you.
biggest liar. You probably are worse than Jeb Bush. You are the single biggest liar. Lyin apostrophe.
He's Lyin Ted, and that's his name. And I think, frankly, that name is stuck.
He'll say, Donald Trump wants to absolutely get rid of the Second Amendment. We're going to protect our Second Amendment. This guy... Why do you lie?
Not to interrupt you.
Why do you lie? Excuse me. I've given my answer, Lyin Ted. I've given my answer.
The evangelicals are on my side. They don't like liars. Evangelicals do not like liars.
The Bible held high. He puts it down and then he lies. Comes in with the Bible, ladies and...
Heavenly Father, we come to you today in a spirit of thanksgiving.
Yes, Father.
Bible high. Bible high. He walks in with the Bible held high, right? I met a lot tougher people than him, but I never met a guy that lied this much. This guy's a choke artist, and this guy's a liar. He can't do it for the obvious reason, and he can't do it because he doesn't know how to tell the truth. He puts the Bible down. Puts it down. He puts the Bible down. And then he lies. And then he lies. Lyin Ted Cruz. We know Lyin Ted, right? He'll say, I'm the only one that beat Donald Trump. I beat him. But he doesn't say, yeah, he won like 4, and I won like 12 or 13, right? Nobody likes him. I've never seen a guy like this. In fact, have we branded this guy or what? What's your name? My name's Lyin Ted Cruz. I see him walking into these beautiful corridors in Washington, and guys say, hey, Lyin Ted, how you doing? After we win, we got to get that name off his, who wants to go around with that name? Lyin with a little apostrophe. Bing. Who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay for the wall? I've never done that before. That's actually cute. 10 years ago, everybody wanted the wall. The Democrats, the Republicans, one of the reasons they couldn't get it? Environmental impact statements. There were toads. And then they say, you can't build a wall. It's too big. Well, 3,000 years ago, the Great Wall of China was built. We'd like to have that wall. That wall, nobody gets through. That I can tell you. I will build a better wall. I will build it for cheaper, and Mexico will pay if that's your next question.
Yeah, how do you get Mexico to pay?
Because they are ripping us left and right. Maybe someday they're going to call it the Trump wall. Maybe. So I have to make sure it's beautiful, right? We will build the wall, and Mexico will pay for the wall. So I get a call from one of the...
Hit the like and subscribe button. MAGA forever.
The president of Mexico said,
I'm not going to pay for that wall.
we will never pay for the F-bomb wall. I said, oh, the poor guy, he's going to get killed tomorrow in the papers. Nobody mentioned it.
He should pay for it. He's got the money.
Any message for the former president of Mexico?
Yeah, get your money ready because you're going to pay for the wall. Who's going to pay for the wall? Mexico, honey.
We will never pay for that wall.
The press calls up. Do you have a comment? I said, yes. Tell him that the wall just got 10 feet taller. Okay, tell him. Ready? Who's going to pay for the wall? Who?
And Mexico's going to pay for the wall because he knows Mexico needs the U.S. when it comes to trade, just the way the U.S. needs Mexico.
I have to say that I am not going to pay for that. No, I am not.
That wall is getting taller with every interview these ex-Mexican presidents do. Getting taller.
So I know that Mexico will never pay for that wall.
The wall just got 10 feet taller. Every single time. Gets 10 feet taller, goes up. Goes up. 10 feet higher.
All these other characters say, oh, they won't pay, because they don't know the first thing about how to negotiate. Trust me, Mexico will pay for it.
If the Mexicans don't pay for the wall, will you start a trade war with Mexico?
Well, you know, I don't mind trade wars, but we're losing $58 billion a year. You want to know the truth? Once a joker, always a joker. Is that true? Once a joker, always a joker. I watched a meltdown like I've never, ever seen. And it was Chris grilling Marco Rubio.
And let's dispel once and for all with this fiction that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing.
This guy was sweating so badly. Oh, he was sweating. Honestly, it was disgusting.
But I would add this. Let's dispel with this fiction that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing.
And then it went a third time, a fourth time, and a fifth time. And I was ready to grab him because I thought he was going down.
And this notion that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing is just not true.
There it is.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Memorized 25-second speech.
And that was one of the epic meltdowns. He didn't know where he was. I thought he was gonna die. Good going, Chris.
Anyone who believes that Barack Obama isn't doing what he's doing on purpose doesn't understand what we're dealing with here.
He's a joke artist. He chokes.
I was standing right next to him. I look over and say, "Are you okay?" I mean, it looked like he just came out of a swimming pool. He was soaking wet.
Marco is not a negotiator. I watched him melt down, and I'll tell you, it was one of the saddest things I've ever seen.
When you're a joker, you're always a joker. We can't have that. We can't take any chances in this country. You had to see him backstage. He was putting on makeup with a trowel.
He says that I'm sweating all the time. It's hot in here. Am I sweating now?
I will not say that he was trying to cover up his ears. I will not say that.
And he's over here, and I see him starting to sweat. Thank God he has really large ears, the biggest ears I've ever seen. Because they were protecting him. It was going...
He's always calling me Little Marco.
Harris!
I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2". Have you seen his hands?
He hit my hands. Nobody has ever hit my hands. I've never heard of this one. Look at those hands. Are they small hands?
And you know what they say about men with small hands?
He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem.
Look, he's going to say, show him your hands, Mr. Trump. My hands, look at these hands. These hands hit a golf ball 285 yards. Look at these hands.
Hiring people to work on your projects illegally. You hired some workers.
No, I'm the only one on the stage that's hired people. You haven't hired anybody. All you have to do is look at his credit card. I mean, he is a disaster with his credit cards. Here's the guy that buys a house for $179,000. He sells it to a lobbyist who's probably here for $380,000, and then legislation is passed. You tell me about this guy.
We have a con artist as the front runner in the Republican Party. A guy who has made a career out of telling people lies.
The real con artist is Senator Marco Rubio, who was elected in Florida and who has the worst voting record in the United States Senate. He doesn't go to vote. He's absent. The people of Florida can't stand him.
If he ran in Florida today for an office, he couldn't run for dog catcher. He wouldn't be elected.
Donald J. Trump.
There is a serious question as to whether or not Ted can do this, okay? Because he was not born on the land. He cannot run for office.
There have been questions raised about the issue of, are you eligible to run for president? You were born in Canada.
Un momento.
Decide.
Sir, okay, next question.
I want to congratulate Ted on Maine. He should do well in Maine because it's very close to Canada, let's face it. I mean, here's the problem. We're running. He does great. I win. I choose him as my vice presidential candidate, and the
Okay.
He said that very simply because he has failed in this campaign. It's been a total disaster. Nobody cares. That was only a microphone. I thought somebody threw something at me. I was saying, is that Jeb?
Well, I would say Jeb Bush is a frequent target because when this whole thing started, I thought he was going to be the primary competition, but he's drifted very much to the middle of the pack and he's rapidly disappearing. So we're going to have to start looking at somebody else.
We are in a mixed system. And a big part of the reason are these dishonest people in the media.
Without the media, Hillary Clinton couldn't be elected dog catcher.
The political press is among the most dishonest people that I've ever met.
They don't want to give it straight. Because the press are liars, they're terrible people.
Of course, you're excluded, Carl. But I think the political press, you're in the middle.
Whoa! Whoa! The most dishonest people in the world. Look at them all back there.
Most dishonest people.
Scavengers, they're like scavengers.
That's wrong. They were wrong. It's the New York Times. They're always wrong. The New York Times, which is, forget it. I call it the failing New York Times.
People call it what a rapist and murder.
No. We're talking about illegal immigration. You're with Telemundo, and Telemundo should be ashamed. And I'll tell you something. What's really going to be fun? I'm right now suing Univision for $500 million. All these maniacs back there, the press, they're the worst. Like this sleazy guy right over here from ABC. He's a sleaze, in my book. You're a sleaze because you know the facts, and you know the facts well.
The most dishonest human beings. These people right here. Look at all the cameras. No, they're the worst.
I want to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you like this guy. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot.
Has anyone ever heard of Lindsey Graham? He's constantly on television. Lindsey Graham, a total dope.
I'm at 38, I think, in South Carolina. He's at 3. He's a senator.
And you know how you make America great again? Kill Donald Trump to go to hell.
And I said, wait a minute. That's the guy that I defeated so badly that he went home and he started to cry, okay? He started to cry.
Don't be the world's biggest jackass.
I watched this idiot Lindsey Graham on television today, and he calls me a jackass.
He's a jackass.
He's a jackass. And he calls me a jackass. I'm supposed to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. You know, I'm working hard to be nice. In the private sector, he couldn't get a job, believe me. You know what I'm saying? I said, what's this guy, begging? He's like begging me to help him with something. He said, could you mention my name? I said, yes, I might. And he gave me his number, and I found the card. I wrote the number down. I don't know if it's the right number. Let's try it. 202 228 0292. I don't know. Maybe it's, it's 3-4 years ago, so maybe it's an old number. 202 228 0292. I don't know. Give it a shot. Your local politician, he won't fix anything, but at least he'll talk to you. So Paul came out the other day. He was at 0.
Why do you think, Senator Graham, then, that he's rising in the polls?
Oh, I think that's the beginning of what has happened. The beginning.
He actually probably seems to me not as bright, honestly, as Rick Perry.
Can't name it that one?
The third agency of government, I would do away with the education, commerce.
If you really want to make Hillary Clinton president of the United States, vote for Donald Trump. Dishonest beats crazy.
The third one I can't. Oops.
I think Rick Perry probably is smarter than Lindsey Graham, but what do I know?
Oh, you seem angry. I am really pissed.
I'm beating him awfully badly in the polls. I'm not beating him. If I can't beat her, you're really going to get killed, aren't you?
He didn't do well in the debates against me. According to every poll, just great debater, except he lost in every single poll and every single debate.
Headline, Trump way up, Cruz going down. They don't like the Wall Street Journal, they don't like NBC, but I like the poll.
Just read an article that Cruz is working really hard to, I don't want to use the word bribe, but to bribe.
On his financial disclosure form, he didn't even put that he's borrowed money from Citibank and from Goldman Sachs, which is a total violation.
But he pretends like, oh, I have
nothing to do with the oil industry. I have nothing to do with the banking industry.
For 40 years, you've been funding.
Recording in progress. Antes de hacer el test. Vale, la parte más fácil del subjuntivo, los regulares. Y en general aquí, si veis,
Don't worry about that baby. I love babies, though. I love babies. I hear that baby crying. I like it. They said I threw a baby. It turned out I didn't throw out a baby. Actually, I was only kidding. You can get the baby out of here. In fact, the mother went on television saying how she loves me. I said to my kids, no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. Raise your hands, kids. I promise Donald J. Trump that I will never take drugs. I don't want to say no alcohol, but take it easy on the alcohol, right? They spent, listen to this, $1 million on ads against me in Iowa. They used the best pictures. I look so good in those pictures. I'm trying to find where they got them. Because they're stupid. I was like a young guy. I look so handsome. I said to myself, oh, I wish I still looked like that. It would be great. I love you too, man. It's a guy, but I love him. I love him. I love everybody here. I don't care. I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. Let's do a USA chant. USA, USA, USA. He's a weak person. And honestly, that's not what we need. We need somebody that's strong that can get things done. He's a weak person. You can't have that. We don't need a weak person being president of the United States, okay? Because that's what we get if it were Jeb. I called him a low-energy person, so now he wants to be a tough guy. It doesn't work.
A tough business to run for president.
You're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is real tough. You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 3. You started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the edge. I said, Jeb, you're not going to be here much longer. You're pretty far down there, Jebba. You're not going to be here much longer, Jeb. You got to get tougher, Jeb.
Simple fact is, if you think this is tough and you're not being treated
this isn't tough.
imagine what it's going to be like dealing with President Xi.
Jeb Bush is a total stiff, by the way, a total stiff.
Go ahead, Mr. Trump.
So,
Little we don't
again,
pass
I
it
know
down.
you're trying to build up your energy, Jeb, but it's not working.
He was very weak in the debate. He opened very badly. He closed very badly.
You got Hillary Clinton to go to your wedding because you gave her money.
He had a couple of sound bites that were given to him by his people.
I got along with Clinton. I got along with everybody. That was my job, to get along with people.
But the
I didn't
simple
want
fact
to,
is...
excuse me, 1 second.
No.
I
The
didn't
simple
want
fact
to
is,
get
you cannot take...
more energy tonight. I like that. Jeb Bush, let's say he's president. Oh, yeah. With Jeb's attitude, we will never be great again. That I can tell you. You know, little Marco is little, L-I-D-D-L-E, little Marco. I looked at this picture. Marco Rubio looked like he was about 4'2" tall. If you put like little Rubio up there and he's president, they'll say, Mr. President. I think Marco is highly overrated. Highly overrated. He doesn't have it. He's a lightweight. Everyone said, oh, Rubio, he's the next Reagan. He's no Reagan, that I can tell you.
Let me begin by congratulating President Obama on the start of his second term.
When they put Marco on to refute President Obama's speech, do you remember that catastrophe?
On foreign policy, America continues to be indispensable to the goal of global liberty.
talking, I noticed, I say, man, is he sweating.
Guys, a unit fears nobody.
I need water. Help me. I need water.
I need water. Help me.
Situations like the one the president laid out tonight.
He's off screen. I said, where is he? It's Rubio.
I'm just glad the water was nearby. I don't know what I would have done without it.
Can you imagine Putin sitting there and waiting for the meeting, and this guy walks in and he's like a wreck?
And he's soaking wet and sweating. Hello? Hello? Can I have some water? And Putin's sitting there. What the hell kind of stuff is this? This is not exactly a poker player, folks.
You gotta have Trump walk into that meeting, folks. We'll do very nice. We're gonna do very nicely.
While it is not God's plan that I be president in 2016 or maybe ever, and while today my campaign is suspended,
They said, Mr. Trump, the Pope just made some statements about you. I said, the Pope? What do I have to do with the Pope?
A person who
The
thinks
Pope.
building walls and not building bridges is not Christian.
Hit the like and subscribe button, guys. Go follow my new channel, Travel and Trash Talk. I'll be mostly going live on there, but subscribe here as well. Hit the like and subscribe button.
The Vatican is attacked by ISIS. I can promise you that the Pope would have only wished and prayed that Donald Trump would have been president.
Bush is 1% from the bottom. Why doesn't he just give up? Just go home. Go home. Go home to mom.
To help convince the voters, he brought a secret weapon here. I think you might want to say hello to somebody.
Hey.
Hello. How are you? He's honest, dependable, loyal, relatively funny. Good looking.
Jeb had 17, now he's down to 2. Okay, after spending 100, wasting 100 million, his last ad, he uses his mother in the ad.
His heart is big. When push comes to shove, people are going to realize Jeb has real solutions.
So you're gonna have to get out there yourself, Jeb.
He's so polite. We brought him up that way.
Weak, pathetic people. Low energy is a better term, right? Low energy.
I don't advise him, but if I gave him advice, I would say, why don't you interrupt like the other people do? Really? Yes, I would say that.
Jeb, your mother can't help you with ISIS. She can't help you with China. She can't help you with these people, Jeb. You gotta do it yourself.
Jeb is the nicest, wisest, most caring, loyal, disciplined.
Tried the mother, who's a very nice lady, I'm sure. But he tried the mother. That didn't work out so good.
Mrs. Bush, what do you think of Donald Trump? I'm sick of it.
My mom finally told me that I was her favorite. Yeah.
No. A woman came up to me, she said, I'm not sure that you're nice enough to be president. I said, you know what? This is not going to be an election based on a nice person. It's going to be based on a competent person. We're tired of the nice people.
Tonight, I am suspending my campaign. Yeah.
Boom. Walker gone. This one gone. Bush gone. Low energy. Bush gone. All gone. CNN did a focus group. They got caught trying to find people so they could give a phony vote. CNN is a disgrace. Oh, they just turned off their camera.
You keep calling us the dishonest press, the disgusting
Well,
press.
generally speaking, that's 100% true. Go ahead.
CNN is so disgusting. CNN.
The public gets it, you know. Look, when I go to rallies, they turn around, they start screaming at CNN. They want to throw their placards at CNN. People don't trust you, and the people don't trust the media. The panel is almost exclusive anti-Trump, and the hatred and venom.
But you know the good thing? Nobody's watching them anyway, so probably.
Live
me would love to see Donald and me get in a giant food fight. I'm certainly not going to engage in that. I hope Donald won't either.
Trump retweeted this image. Cruz's wife in an unflattering pose next to Melania Trump.
When I saw somebody tweeted a picture of Melania
And a picture of Heidi. With the caption, "No need to spill the beans. The images are worth 1,000 words."
An enraged Ted Cruz looking right into our camera to deliver this message to Donald Trump.
Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone.
I have to tell you, I think Heidi Cruz is a great person. I think it's the best thing he's got going and his kids, if you want to know the truth.
Leave Heidi the hell alone.
So will you support him as the nominee?
I'm going to beat him.
He was asked today about a National Enquirer story claiming he has had 5 mistresses.
This National Enquirer story is garbage. It is complete and utter lies. And it is a smear that has come from Donald Trump and his henchmen. It is a story that quoted one source on the record, Roger Stone.
Guys, hit the like and subscribe button. Go follow the new channel, Travel and Trash Talk.
Donald Trump may be a rat, but I have no desire to copy him.
I don't know how you pronounce his name, Kasich. It's I-C-H. Every time I see it, I say Kasich. But it's pronounced Kasich.
To ship 11 million people who are law-abiding
You know, can we ask him to change the spelling of his name? Are we allowed to do that?
to Mexico. Think about the families. Think about the children. Makes no
All I
sense.
can say is you're lucky in Ohio that you struck oil. That's the one thing. I have a new nickname for him. 1 for 41.
People say, why does he stay in the race?
Here's a guy that just says I'm going to say.
I don't believe Donald Trump is going to be the nominee.
Like if you have a child who's a spoiled brat.
What am I supposed to get out and leave it to these guys?
I don't care, Daddy. Get out of the room, Daddy. I don't care.
He has a news conference all the time when he's eating. I have never seen a human being eat in such a disgusting fashion.
He's stuffing pancakes in his mouth like this.
I never saw bites this big.
And I'm always telling my boy, take small bites, Barrett, little tiny bites.
My son, he was watching. He said, Daddy, look. I said, don't watch. It's disgusting.
Then they talk about presidential. This is not a presidential person.
Do you want that for your president? I don't think so.
You're ruling out voting for Donald Trump?
It's very, very likely I will not.
Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud. His promises are as worthless as a degree from Trump University.
Mitt is a failed candidate. He failed.
He's playing the members of the American public for suckers.
I had no idea that we'd have millions of more votes than we had when we had that stiff Mitt Romney, a total stiff running.
He gets a free ride to the White House, and all we get is a lousy hat.
Who, by the way, he's a dope. He's not a smart person.
When you walk into a stage, you cannot walk like a penguin. You walk like a penguin. I said, this is a problem.
Mr. Trump is a con man, a fake.
That was an election that he should have won, and he lost. And he should just go away and let the big boys do it now.
Watch, by the way, how he responds to my speech today.
He was begging for my endorsement. I could have said, Mitt, drop to your knees. He would have dropped to his knees.
How can any kind of socialist win a general election in the United States?
Well, we're going to win because first we're going to explain what democratic socialism is.
I never thought we'd see the day in our country when a communist
I think we should look to countries like Denmark, like Sweden, and Norway.
is the leading Democrat. We're going to have a communist against an entrepreneur. I like the entrepreneur. Right?
I have far more votes than anybody, including Hillary, because I had 17 people. She had Bernie. Lou, you guys aren't big into socialism or communism, are you? He is nuts. He is a total nut job. We're going to give this, we're going to give that, we're going to give that. She's the poor woman. She's got to give everything away because this maniac that was standing on her right is giving everything away, so she's following. That's what's happening. A couple of young women took over the microphone from Bernie a month ago, right?
I would like to welcome you to this place called Seattle, which is actually occupied to Amish land.
They took it over and he was like
this, huh?
If you do not listen to her, your event will be shut down right now. Right now. Your decision.
He is not stopping ISIS, I will tell you.
Trump has got to get on the TV and tell his supporters that violence in the political process in America is not acceptable. End of discussion.
Some of your supporters in Chicago were acting violently as well.
Look, it's a Bernie person. It's a Bernie. Hello, Bernie. Hey, Bernie, get your people in line, Bernie. Bernie! Bernie, where are you, Bernie? Oh, we love Bernie.
Socialists, and you're one of those, want the government to run the
Democratic socialist.
Yeah.
He gets a little nasty and a little cranky every once in a while.
And socialists want the government to run the economy.
One thing about Bernie, he doesn't give up. This guy doesn't give up. This socialist / communist, okay? Nobody wants to say it. He's waiting for really the FBI to do what everybody thinks they're going to do. I mean, I think that's... He's sort of saying, look, let's hang in there, because ultimately it's called the FBI convention, and then we'll be the only people, and we will have done something like Trump did. I want to be like Trump. I want to be like Trump.
I exhort every member of the body of Christ to vote for the candidate that stands on the word of God. I am convinced that man is my son, Ted Cruz. The alternative could be the destruction of America.
And it's disgraceful that his father can go out and do that. You look at so many of the ministers that are backing me. I'm winning the evangelical vote.
Donald Trump went on national television and attacked my father.
His father. I don't know his father. I met him once. I think he's a lovely guy.
His father was with Lee Harvey Oswald prior to Oswald being shot. What was he doing with Lee Harvey Oswald before the shooting? It's horrible.
Donald Trump alleges that my dad was involved in assassinating JFK.
All I did is point out the fact that on the cover of the National Enquirer, there's a picture of him and crazy Lee Harvey Oswald having breakfast.
The tabloid claims this man is Ted Cruz's father, Raphael, handing out leaflets with Oswald in August 1963, 3 months before President Kennedy was assassinated.
I guess I should go ahead and admit, yes, my dad killed JFK. He is secretly Elvis, and Jimmy Hoffa is buried in his backyard.
Now, Ted never denied that it was his father. They're not saying, oh, that wasn't really my father. It's a little hard to do, because it looks like him.
The National Enquirer has become his hit piece that he uses to smear anybody and everybody.
This had nothing to do with me. Except I might have pointed it out.
Do you want your children coming home and saying, Mommy, I don't need to ask God for forgiveness for anything?
Lyin Ted does not have the temperament to be doing this.
Everyone likes him. All the media praises him. I don't need to either.
He's choking like a dog because he's losing so badly. We have to put him away tomorrow.
Introduce to you my friend and the next Vice President of the United States, Carly Fiorina.
She left at 0. Okay, she had 0. She had like 1 or 0. She had nothing going.
Let me choose Carly. Maybe that'll turn it around.
For the first time in the history of American politics, a man who is totally mathematically dead, he cannot win, has appointed a vice president.
Carly, we're doing great. We're going to win. Let's go. Be my vice president.
By the way, she fell off the stage the other day. Did anybody see that?
And the next president of the United States, Ted Cruz.
She just went down. She went down a long way, right? And Cruz didn't do anything.
Ted Cruz.
Even I would have helped her, okay? No, it's true.
The voters chose another path. We are suspending our campaign. Vote your conscience. Vote for candidates up and down the ticket.
I don't want his endorsement. What difference does it make? I don't want his endorsement.
Who you trust to defend our freedom and to be faithful to the Constitution.
so bad. I feel so bad.
Now I can focus on Hillary, that crook. I can focus on Hillary.
Mr. Trump finally unveiled his nickname for Mrs. Clinton.
Crooked Hillary, folks. She's been crooked from the beginning. Hillary Clinton is a crook.
That's negative.
I call her Crooked Hillary. She's Crooked Hillary. Crooked. She's crooked as you can be. Crooked Hillary. Crooked? Oh, is she crooked? Is she crooked? Lyin Crooked Hillary. I have a list. Look, page after page of the lies. Look, she's been proven to be a liar on so many different ways.
What difference at this point does it make?
This is just another lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie. Dirty, rotten liar. Now she's blaming the lie on the late, great Abraham Lincoln. Honest Abe never lied. That's the good thing. That's the big difference between Abraham Lincoln and you. She's a world-class liar. Just look at her pathetic email server statements.
I did not email any classified material.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified. Was that true?
That's not true.
How do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president? How does that happen?
I wanted to just use one device for both personal and work emails instead of two.
I have an iPad, a mini iPad, an iPhone, and a BlackBerry.
We're talking about the safety of our people. The laws are very explicit.
What, like with a cloth or something? No. I don't know how it works digitally at all.
Stupidity is not a reason that you're going to be innocent, okay? It's not a reason. There has never been so many lies, so much deception. There has never been anything like it. Crooked Hillary Clinton. Here's what gives her up. Be quiet. I know you want to, save her. Hillary's running for a lot of reasons. One of them is because she wants to stay out of jail. They will say the greatest achievement of Hillary Clinton was getting out of this problem with emails. Nobody could have got it. Houdini couldn't have gotten out. Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me."
Nasty women are going to march our nasty feet to cast our nasty votes to get you out of our lives forever.
You know, she's got this goofy friend named Elizabeth Warren. She's on her Twitter ad. She's a goofus.
A goofus. A goofy and a doofus combined. A goofus.
Who's that, the Indian? You made the Indian? She said she was an Indian. She said because her cheekbones were high, she was an Indian. Who, Pocahontas? Pocahontas? Well, no, she's the... Very offensive. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Pocahontas? She's been going around pretending that she's a minority, right? And she's getting into colleges and she's doing all sorts of things. She's a total phony.
You regret calling her Pocahontas? Do you regret that?
I do regret calling her Pocahontas because I think it's a tremendous insult to Pocahontas. So to Pocahontas, I would like to apologize to you.
The housing meltdown, because it meant he could buy up more property on the cheap. What kind of a man does that?
She's one of the worst senators in the entire United States Senate. She's gotten practically nothing done. If it was up to her, you'd have taxes at 95%. She's got a big mouth, and that's about it. But they use her because Hillary's trying to be very presidential. She's stopping with the shouting, okay? Honestly, I think she hurt Hillary Clinton very badly. I watched those speeches, the anger, the hatred in her heart.
I've got news for you, Donald Trump. Women have had it with guys like you.
She was getting up with that craziness and that anger.
He thinks that because he has a mouthful of Tic Tacs, that he can force himself on any woman within groping distance.
Pocahontas would not be proud of her as her representative, believe me. Now, I hope she runs with Hillary, because I would like to take them out. I'll tell you. I think she's as Native American as I am, okay?
I'm doing such a disservice to Pocahontas. It's so unfair to Pocahontas.
She doesn't have the look. She doesn't have the stamina. You've seen me. I've been all over the place. You decided to stay home, and that's okay. She always just reads off the teleprompter. And it's short, and then she goes home and she goes to sleep.
To watch her is like Sominex. You ever hear Sominex? Sleep all night. Bing.
Flying above Times Square, it's Super Trump on a digital billboard for 3 days.
Always teleprompters. Donald Trump does not have the temperament to be president.
Donald Trump's tone
Is very tough. That's what we need. We need tough tone. She's supposed to fight all of these different things, and she can't make it 15 feet to her car. Give me a break. I'll do 7, 8, 9 stops. I'll make 3 or 4 major speeches. She makes a speech for 15 minutes. She goes home, goes to bed.
3 days later, she gets up and she does another one and goes back home and goes to sleep.
She has less energy than Jeb Bush.
Oh boy, is ISIS hoping for her.
I was watching television in Florida, and I said, there's no way I can win. Every single ad is a negative ad, and most of them are false. There was a little truth to some of them, I'll be honest.
Is that a wig? It really was shocking to see it.
Boy, oh boy, she's become like a marshmallow.
It was massive. You know, her hair became massive.
505 billion. And by the way, I don't like this mic. Whoever the hell brought this mic system, dump the son of a bitch to put it in, I'll tell you. We're outside. So, Fire Marshal, will you let the people in, please? I assume the Fire Marshal's a Democrat, I assume. If we're attacked, Japan doesn't have to do nothing. They can sit home and watch Sony television, right?
Are you saying you're not going to protect them? I said, well, let me ask you.
Have they paid?
Look at that guy over there. Wow. Bam.
Where's your daddy? And your mommy, right? Do you want to go back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Trump.
These teleprompters haven't been working for the last 20 minutes.
And I actually like my speech better without teleprompters.
Presidential candidates so viciously demonize the American voter.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
My wife and I represent non-deplorable people.
The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
We are not racist at all.
There's so much more that I find deplorable.
Do I look deplorable? No.
They're offensive, hateful, mean-spirited.
I'm a wife, a mother, I work full-time, and I am voting for Donald Trump and Mrs. Clinton. You can go home.
Unfortunately, there are people like that.
We are going to make America great again. And Hillary needs to take a nap.
And he has lifted them up.
After all the horrible scandals that Hillary Clinton's been involved in, and that she has the gall to call us deplorable.
They are your evil. Thankfully, they are not.
USA.
We have a divided nation because people like her, and believe me, she has tremendous hate in her heart.
America must reject the bigotry of Hillary Clinton, who sees communities of color only as votes, not as human beings worthy of a better future.
I have no doubt that I am Bill Clinton's son. Everyone in Arkansas knew. Everywhere I went, they pointed, "That's Bill Clinton's son right there. He looked like him, don't he?" In 1995,
When my father was president of the United States, the state of Arkansas put us in foster care. We was house to house, hungry at nights.
I met with a small group of the Black Lives Matter activists.
If she's saying Black Lives Matter, why I don't matter to her?
Devastating what's happening to her in the cities. She's been talking about it for years. As usual, she talks about it, nothing happens.
The San Bernardino shooter, she was here on a fiancé visa. Isn't that nice? Oh, fiancé, wonderful fiancé. When people are shooting their friends in California, when they're shooting their friends, bye, bye, goodbye. If some of those wonderful people had guns strapped right here, and this son of a bitch comes out and starts shooting, boom, boom. You know what? That would have been a beautiful, beautiful sight, folks. Our country's so politically correct that we're going to hell. Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
We now have proposals from the presumptive Republican nominee for president of the United States to bar all Muslims from emigrating to America.
Watched President Obama today, and he was more angry at me than he was at the shooter.
You told CNN, quote, Islam hates us. Did you mean all 1.6 billion Muslims?
I mean a lot of them. I mean a lot of them.
I will gladly lend you my copy.
If you look at his wife, she was standing there. She had nothing to say. Maybe she wasn't allowed to have anything to say. You tell me, but plenty of people have written that.
What's the father of the man responsible for the Orlando massacre doing at a Hillary Clinton rally?
How did you like that picture? Him sitting, 49 people killed.
We are unified. If you're with me, please, let's go out.
Of course he likes Hillary, because Hillary won't even say the words radical Islamic terrorism. Hillary Clinton, through her incompetence, created ISIS. And now she wants to get rid of it. She says, yes, we will fight ISIS. She's the one that created it. With stupid, stupid policy.
Well, at least I have a plan to fight ISIS.
No, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
You saw Hillary say last night, you don't know more than the generals. Well, the generals aren't doing so well right now. I would bomb the out of them. We're going to bomb the out of them. It's true.
I don't care. You got to knock them out. Knock them the hell out. And ISIS now is building a hotel in Iraq. They're competing with me. You believe it? I just spent $1 million building a soccer field for our prisoners that happen to be in Guantanamo. What do you need $1 million for? Level out the surface. Let them play. She is the worst Secretary of State in the history of our nation. Why would she be a good president? I think she'd be a terrible president. Hillary has experience, but it's bad experience. She has been outsmarted and outplayed worse than anybody I've ever seen in any government whatsoever.
I think he has shown that he is dangerous.
She talks about me being dangerous. She's killed hundreds of thousands of people with her stupidity. 30 years you've been doing it, and now you're just starting to think of solutions. If you were an effective senator, you could have done it, but you were not an effective.
Please allow her to respond.
She doesn't do anything about anything other than talk. With her, it's all talk and no action. Why did Hillary get rid of her middle name? Hillary Rotten Clinton, right? Maybe that's why. It's too close. You come in from China, you see these incredible airports. We don't have the money because it's been squandered on so many of your ideas. I want to see a woman become president, but it can't be her. She's a disaster. Hillary is so corrupt. She got kicked off the Watergate Commission.
Payroll contribution will go up, as will Donald's, assuming he can't figure out how to get out of it. But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund. One of the worst things he said was about a woman in a beauty contest. He called this woman Miss Piggy.
She went up from about 118 to about 170 pounds. It was incredible.
And you can bet she's going to vote this November.
Okay, good. At one point, she was actually an eating machine. Somebody said, gee, that's not a very nice thing to say, but it's true.
He'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit
No, you're
that
the
the
puppet.
Russian.
I'm watching television, and I see her barking like a dog. John Podesta said you have terrible instincts. Bernie Sanders said you have bad judgment. I agree with both. I have much better judgment than she does. There's no question about that. I also have a much better temperament than she has.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail. All you have to do is take a look at WikiLeaks, because Bernie Sanders, between superdelegates and Deborah Wasserman-Schultz, he never had a chance. And I was so surprised to see him sign on with the devil.
We have got to elect Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine.
You know, Bernie Sanders would have been a legend. He would have gone down as a legendary figure in history if he didn't make a deal with the devil. But he made a deal with her, and now he's just another guy.
My Bernie, my poor Bernie. Oh, Bernie, I feel so badly for Bernie.
Bernie Sanders has, to use an old word that I use on occasion, he's lost his energy. He wants to go home and go to sleep.
But you know what? A lot of Bernie Sanders supporters are going to be voting for Trump.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Remember what he said? He did not have sex with that woman. Oh, I'm so glad they kept the dress.
Hillary Clinton's only loyalty is to her financial contributors and to herself. I don't even think she's loyal to Bill. You want to know the truth. Uma is getting classified secrets. She's married to Anthony Weiner, who's a perv. You know, the little bing, bing, bing. Bum, bum. I love you very much.
Remember 3 weeks ago? Donald Trump is sexist. I brought her husband into the equation, right? Whitewater, impeachment, lies. He didn't have sex with that woman. 2 months later, he's going,
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. Bill Clinton was abusive to women. Hillary Clinton attacked those same women and attacked them viciously. 4 of them here tonight. These 4 very courageous women have asked to be here. Okay.
Hi, I'm Juanita Broderick, and I'm here to support Donald Trump. Actions speak louder than words. Mr. Trump may have said some bad words, but Bill Clinton raped me, and Hillary Clinton threatened me. I don't think there's any comparison.
Hillary was an enabler, and she treated these women horribly.
I think it's disgraceful, and I think she should be ashamed of herself.
And she's going to take ads about little Donald Trump. I was with Donald Trump in 1980. I was sitting with him on an airplane.
Did he actually kiss you?
Yeah. Oh, wherever he could find a landing spot, yes.
Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States. At least I will go down as a president.
How about Obama? I don't think you people like our president too much.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president. And the reason is because I have a lot of faith in the American people.
I think he's the worst president maybe in the history of our country. I think he's been a disaster. He's been weak. He's been ineffective. You look at this so-called recovery, it's setting record lows.
I think the Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president.
Our borders are like Swiss cheese. This man has done such a bad job. He has set us back so far.
I'd invite Mr. Trump to stop whining.
The premiums are going through the roof. The deductibles, frankly, you have to get hit with a Komatsu tractor in order to use them. They're so high. So
suddenly he's acting like he's a populist out there. Man, I'm gonna fight for working people. Come on, man.
I bid you. We spent on a website. I hire people. They do a website. It costs me $3.
This is a Fox News election alert. Pennsylvania goes to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
1 year ago, what started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
The fake media tried to stop us from going to the White House, but I'm president and they're not. How about when a major anchor who hosted a debate started crying when she realized that we won?
Donald Trump is democratically elected. If you have a son in the Marine Corps, the people in the military defend.
Tears. No, tell me this isn't true.
If you look at it, even if you look at our 6 toss-up states on the board right now, even if Donald Trump won them all, he'd still be short.
You watch John King, the hand is shaking, quivering. Donald Trump has won Wisconsin. Donald Trump has won Michigan. Oh, you can see he's like getting ready to throw up all over them. And then they're looking at the map, they're saying, oh, wow, there's no way for Hillary Clinton to become president. Donald Trump is president of the United States. Oh.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance? You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir,
Can you hate some of these people, but I'd never kill them. I would never kill them. I would never kill them. I would never do that.
Go ahead. If you say categorically, Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question? You're attacking
Such lying, disgusting people. It's true. It's true.
Can you give us a question? Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news. No, I wouldn't. I would never kill him.
Just because of the attack of fake news, and I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know.
This is CNN.
Sir, you and everybody else say it's not a ban. The president just proved what the truth is. All this has been spin and a distraction. Why?
Chris, this is where your spin fails. This is where the fake news propaganda collapses. Hold on. Do we have to write the rules of dignity? Of decency? Do we have to rewrite the rules of decency? Scott?
Do I think a presidential tweet here would be a nice gesture? Absolutely, 100% I do.
If you can't control your tweeting habits, you crazy lunatic 70-year-old man, baby, then stop tweeting. Go seek therapy. Go knit. Find a hobby.
Late last night, the president tweeted, despite the constant negative press, covfefe. I don't believe we as a nation have reached consensus on the exact pronunciation of covfefe.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't know if you're really why he apologized. Let's talk about Libya. Let's talk about her using a level of humanitarian crisis. I can't, because thanks to that red line.
I want to talk to Dana Bash now. Dana, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
It's very disturbing the way this president views a free press
calling fake news, and it's exercise under the First Amendment to the Constitution.
CNN found the Reddit user who created the wrestling video and where he punches CNN. He had become addicted to the hate, addicted to the ginning up.
He then decided to apologize.
I get you, but a lot of people don't apologize. That there is libel. To suggest that a woman murdered an ambassador, for God's sake, please give us a break.
A source close to former FBI Director James Comey tells me that there are two reasons why President Trump fired Comey. One,
This is the mode of a bullshit artist. He comes back with a certain bravado and tries to explain it away with a tweet or a statement. It's sort of amusing to watch how is he going to pull it off this time.
I think that the average person at home probably doesn't understand.
if you like Donald Trump and you have very low standards, you're happy with that, right? Because it turned out that there wasn't a huge bombshell.
So you think it was deliberate that he tweeted this very...
No, I think he really has no impulse control. He gets mad at somebody and he just fires it off.
You know, this week he's coming after CNN. Next week it could be your news organization.
Well, it could be Fox, it could be MSNBC, it could be ABC, it could be NBC.
That's right. We're going to do the news. Right. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do the news. The rest will take care of itself.
We sacrifice journalism for ratings. CNN is not journalism at all. We are elitist and arrogant, and have grown out of touch with the real people we cover. At CNN, journalism itself, at its best, it is propaganda. This is CNN. Bloody fake news.
We're gonna win with threat. We're gonna win with help. We're gonna win at so many levels. We're gonna have win after win after win. You're gonna get so tired of winning. I'm gonna say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. We can't take this much victory. Please stop. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're gonna keep winning 100%. America first. We're gonna make our country great again. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. And we're going to win. You'll be so happy. I love you. Thank you very much, everybody. I love you. Thank you. We are going to win. I think the reason I have this tremendous support is because, you know what, a lot of it's common sense, okay? A lot of it's common sense. It's not even like, you know, you can say he's a great businessman. A lot of it's common sense.
Guys, go follow my other channel. Travel and Trash Talk.
Just as well. I mean, it's like simple stuff.
You are stupid. You're stupid. You called me a bad economist. I'm stupid.
Well,
What
not
else
a
are you
good
going to
Come on, I've been very civil to you.
You're not a good economist. No, you haven't. You're not a good economist at all.
Donald Trump, let's indulge the thought that you are going to run for the presidency of the United States in the year 2016. What's the slogan going to be?
I think my slogan would be, make America great again.
That's too long. Come on with something pithier.
Make America great again. You're talking about 4 words. I think it's a very precise slogan. I mean, that would probably be my slogan, make America great again.
Mr. Trump, hello, Matt Fry. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Come in, please. I shouldn't really say that. It's your board.
It's okay. That's okay. Nice to be with you.
We were just saying, my car was joking he was going to move the table, but then of course he can't. It's made of
Pretty heavy.
you know, of marble the size of the Berlin Wall.
It's pretty heavy. I brought it this
Oh,
week.
thank you
It
very
just
much.
came out of stock.
Excellent. Okay.
Number 1 new course.
What do I call you, by the way?
Call me Don.
Are you sure?
Whatever you want.
I'll call
You
you
call
Don.
me whatever you want. Take your visa. So what's this all about?
It's all about you. So your office is just about this, right?
It's okay, don't worry. Nah,
You look, it looks good.
whatever it is, right? It's too late, Matt.
It's always too late.
Too late to do anything.
Well, no, you look good. I mean, you've done TV a few times before, so
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Are we set? Donald Trump. Donald, thank you very much for doing this interview. Now, I read somewhere that you don't like shaking people's hands because you're afraid of germs.
Well, I'm not afraid of germs, Matt. I don't think it's a great custom. It's been proven, as you know, a person has a cold, a horrible cold, and they shake your hand. All of a sudden, 2 days later, you have a cold. You say, I wonder how that happened. It's not a great thing, but I do it. I shook your hand. What am I going to catch from you, right?
Hey.
So I was very happy to shake your hand.
We only met a few minutes ago.
Well, it's not a great thing, and it's been proven that it's not a great thing, but I do it. I mean, I have no problem with it.
Which is good, because if you want to run for president, as you might well do, then shaking hands is kind of part of the job, isn't it?
Well, the other night I had dinner at a great restaurant, and a man comes out of the bathroom. I see him, and he's shaking his hands like this. His hands are soaking wet. And he sees me at the table, and he comes over and goes, Mr. Trump, I'm such a fan. He goes, do you mind if I shake your hand? I shook his hand, and his hand is soaking wet. I'm saying, all right. So you know what I did? I didn't need as much than that, which is okay too.
So if I shook your hand again, no fear?
No, it's not a
You
fear.
withdrew that very quickly, though. That was a quick withdrawal.
It's not a fear thing, but as you know, science has proven you're right. I mean, it's just one of those things.
Thank God I'm getting over my cold. Thank God it's all
That's
behind.
okay. Certainly, I have no problem with it, but it causes problems for people. There's no question about that.
Let's talk about politics. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you were flirting with the presidential campaign in the year 2000, and then again in 2011. Why did you bottle up?
Well, not so much in 2000. I did look at it recently, prior to the last election. I had tremendous poll numbers and still have tremendous poll numbers. But I have to give up a lot. You know, I'm doing projects all over the world. Did a great one with you in Scotland, a fantastic project that's been a great
But
success.
surely running the biggest nation on earth is more important than running a golf course.
No, I'm running lots of buildings and doing The Apprentice, which is a tremendous success in this country, and it's been amazing, and I've had an amazing time. I thought that maybe Mitt Romney would win. He didn't do so well. He didn't resonate. He's a nice man, a fine man, but he didn't resonate, and it was a little bit of a tough thing for me. I really would have loved to have thought about running.
Did you regret not running?
You need something, by the way?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I thought.
Just getting it's a third camera, so it's
Okay.
Well, it's a three
Yeah,
camera.
I just didn't.
Okay, no, it's fine. That's right. So did you regret not running in the end?
I regretted that I didn't run, yes. I thought Mitt Romney could win. I backed him, I helped him a lot. I really helped him get the nomination more so than anything else. I didn't get too involved in the election other than I did vote for him. But he didn't resonate. Somehow there was it just didn't work.
And you think that you could?
Well, you know, when I left, when I decided not to run, and I didn't run and lose, I decided not, I was leading in the polls. And Meet the Press, a big story, a big thing, had me leading in the polls, and the following day I announced I was going to do The Apprentice, and I was going to continue to build. You know, I'd have to put everything in trust. I wouldn't have been able to do things that I was doing, many of the things that I was doing. And so it's a big burden. When you're an entrepreneur, and especially a big one, and you have a big company with thousands of employees, and you decide to run, that's a big thing. That's a hard thing to do. When you're a politician, all they do is run for office, so it's not that big a deal.
But were you afraid that you were basically gambling away all the things you had for something that you might not actually succeed in?
Well, certainly.
Was it fear of failure?
Sure. I mean, certainly you could say that, obviously, if you run, you have a lot of people running, and they're smart, and who knows what's going to happen. I was leading in the polls and doing very well in the polls, and it did resonate, my message resonated. But I will say that there would certainly be a chance that either you wouldn't get the nomination or you wouldn't win the election. It's almost the same thing. And if that happened, it's a lot of work.
Okay, so are you going to run this time?
Well, I look and I'll study. I have no plans to do that. I love what I'm doing. We're doing Doral, 800 acres in Miami. We're doing tremendous job. The old post office on Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington. I'm doing jobs all over the world. Do I love doing what I'm doing? Yes. Do I like it best? I love doing what I'm doing. And that's part of the thing. When you love what you do, it's hard to say, oh, gee, I'm going to do something else. However, I love the country. I love the United States. The United States is in trouble. If I can do something to help, I will do it. So it's too early to make that decision.
So why not grasp the nettle, Donald Trump, and announce in this interview that you will run for the White House in 2016?
Well, that would make a lot of people happy, I can tell you, and probably some people not so happy. I am looking. I will see what happens. I would certainly love to continue doing what I'm doing because I'm having a good time doing it, but we'll see what happens.
So it's a yes, possibly.
No, it's really just the word possibly. I mean, I'm certainly not ruling it out, and so the word possibly would be appropriate.
Okay, because here's the point. I mean, a lot of ordinary folks in this country and in the UK are very upset with professional politicians. Professional politicians have never been less popular than they are now. So many people look towards business tycoons like yourself, as they did in the city of New York with Michael Bloomberg, to run things. But I wonder whether someone like you is actually ill-equipped for politics, because having run stuff, having been in charge, having been able to say, you're fired, your skin is far too thin. You can't deal with the kind of grubby compromises that politics demand.
Well, and you may be right. I mean, to be honest with you may be right. And then again, you may be very wrong. I mean, I see the way some politicians run things, and it's horrible. I see what's going on in Scotland, where billions and billions of pounds is being spent on these horrible wind turbines all over the country, destroying the country. Horrible energy, horrible in so many ways, kills the environment, kills the birds. The birds are just being decimated all over Scotland and other places. And I see the kind of thing.
So you're not a fan of wind power, I gather?
Well, wind power is a disaster.
Okay.
I mean, no, it's very bad for the environment. But I see this is a decision, and it needs subsidy. Frankly, England is subsidizing Scotland. Okay, this is the beauty, and why they're doing it, I don't understand it, because it's very, very bad for the environment and other things. So I see decisions that are made, and they're so bad, made by politicians. They're so bad that you would say that actually maybe a politician, it should be imperative that they go into business for a while. Because look at the way the United States, we have a deficit that's phenomenal. We owe $17 trillion. We owe numbers that a lot of people say are not repayable. And the politicians got us into that mess.
But what makes you think that you can do a better job, especially when you seem to have quite a thin skin? You get very upset when people make fun of you.
Well, no, I don't get upset. I mean, I don't get upset. It's very interesting. I don't get upset if they're correct. I get angry if they are not correct, because I've seen so much dishonest reporting. It's been amazing over the course of the years.
I was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in 2011 when you were the butt of President Obama's jokes, and it was very funny, but you weren't laughing. You were sitting there scowling. You couldn't take the joke.
Okay. No, you're wrong about that. I loved it. I absolutely
didn't look like it.
You're wrong.
I was watching you.
Excuse me. I had 5,000. Well, I didn't know how to act. Do I smile? Do I laugh? What am I supposed to do? I had every camera in the world on me at the time. In fact, when I went there, they said, "Do you think he'll make jokes?" I said, "Maybe, maybe not." I sort of assumed not. Well, as you know, and he was very respectful. It was nice. It wasn't a horrible stuff. He was joke after joke. I mean, it was almost like the speech, right? And I said to my wife, I tapped her on the knee, and I said, "Do you believe it? This entire speech is about me. I can't believe it." I loved it. But I didn't act like I loved it. The next day, and I actually loved it, and my friends all knew it. I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. He was good, and he frankly delivered it well, and it was respectful. They had the White House with the name Trump on it, things. I loved it. The next day, the paper said I didn't love it. Now, maybe because I didn't think it was appropriate for me to be laughing, but I was smiling. I had a great time, and the press really covered that wrong.
Tonight, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, threatens to put the Democratic mayor of Denver in jail. This comes after the mayor, who's my next guest, talked about resisting federal forces trying to carry out mass deportation, saying, quote, more than us having the Denver Police Department stationed at the county line to keep them out, you would have 50,000 Denverites there. It's like the Tiananmen Square moment with the rose and the gun. Homan firing back on Fox News.
Me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail.
I'm willing to put them in jail. We're going to enforce the law, period. And they're not going to stop us.
All right, joining me now, the Denver Mayor, Mike Johnston. So Mayor Johnston, you heard what he said, you got something in common. You're willing to go to jail, he's willing to put you there. He says he's going to enforce the law. Are you willing to go to jail over this?
I think there are thoughtful ways to solve this problem. If they want to focus on violent criminals, we would be happy to help support pursuing, arresting, and deporting them. We've helped past administrations, we do that again. If they want to focus on adding more judicial capacity so folks with asylum claims can have those cases heard more quickly, we would support that. What we're not going to do is support deploying the 101st Airborne into American cities to pull 10-year-old kids out of their classrooms in handcuffs. I think that is immoral, that's unconstitutional, and that's un-American. And so I think if that's what they're proposing, they will find us resisting. If they want to partner on common sense solutions, we'll always be happy to partner.
So if Trump were to order ICE agents, for example, right, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, to go into the state of Colorado to enforce federal law, would you order, Mayor Johnston, your police department to resist them? Or are you speaking at this point more of just an act of, protest resistance? Or would this actually be an order to your police department?
Yeah, we won't use our law enforcement, and we don't think we need to. That's not what we're after. I think America's not after another conflict on this issue. They're after a way to find pragmatic solutions to this problem. And so, to quote Lincoln, we don't think here that might makes right. We think that right makes might. And so if they are going to send the U.S. Army or the Navy SEALs into Denver to pursue folks to pull them off the job at hotels or restaurants where they're working, or pull kids off the soccer field, I think we will see Denverites and folks around the country who will not violently resist that, because I think that doesn't represent our values and doesn't represent the Constitution.
So has your view on the broader situation changed, though? And I understand you're trying to draw a distinction between violent criminals and people who are in the country illegally, but are contributing to society, right? Going to school, working jobs. But is Denver, Mayor, going to remain a sanctuary city where you do not enforce federal immigration laws? Is there going to be any change to how you are running the city?
We're not changing how we run the city, but it's important that people know what that status means. What that means is that if someone has committed a violent crime, has committed a felony, we do collaborate with federal law enforcement, and we will. What it means we don't do is if someone is driving to work and has a busted taillight on the way, we don't arrest them and connect them to ICE for deportation. We think that's disruptive for families and for residents. I was a high school principal before this, and these are my students. These are kids who are dreamers, who are playing by the rules, getting jobs, trying to make a life. They have daughters who play on our soccer teams, or sons who sit in your history classes. We don't think that is the problem facing the country. These are 60% of them are working, 25% of them are children. I don't think that is the crisis the country's worried about.
So Trump is now threatening a 25% tariff on Mexico, which of course you've seen. He says he's going to do that until the invasion ends. That's the word he uses. And he says he's going to sign this tariff on his first day, so presumably by his executive order in January. Let me just play what Mexico's president said today, because she responded, and she said the tariffs are not going to do it when it comes to solving the migrant crisis. Here's how she put it.
Presidente Trump, no es con amenazas ni con aranceles como se va a atender el fenómeno migratorio ni el consumo de drogas en Estados Unidos.
And I know, Mayor Johnston, you're fluent in Spanish, so even though you couldn't see those, the translation on the bottom of the screen, you understood what she said. Is it possible, though, that the threat of such tariffs, of a 25% tariff, of such a massive and seismic thing to Mexico, would force Mexico to way more forcefully address the drug and migrant flow than it has up till now?
Depends if the leaders are smart.
I don't think that's going to solve the problem any more than no Denver business is asking.
Okay, then 200% tariff. 200% tariff.
We're trying to fill. We have more business we're trying to do, more imports and exports we want. That would hurt, I think, American farmers and ranchers, and it would hurt American retailers. And so I don't think that is the solution. I think there is a way to work collaboratively with Mexico and other countries in Central and South America to try to solve this problem, and that's what we're looking for. What are pragmatic ways to help people get to work that want to work, help employers hire them if they want to hire them, and help folks get a fair hearing in court and let the courts decide if they get asylum or not. That's all folks are asking. They're not running from the law. They're actually running towards the law. They want to get their cases heard. They have a 7-year wait because the bipartisan bill that would have added more administrative and judicial capacity to hear these cases, Trump opposed. So there's common sense ways to have these cases heard that are constitutional that are consistent with American values, that would keep the American economy going. These won't do that.
Donald Trump's border czar has been picked, and he means serious business. Donald Trump released a statement announcing the appointment, which read, "I am pleased to announce that the former ICE director and stalwart on border control, Tom Homan, will be joining the Trump administration in charge of our nation's borders, the border czar." Social media applauded the appointment, with Republican Carly Fiorina saying, "Excellent choice for border czar. Congratulations to my friend, real Tom Homan." Finally, our border will be secure and our families will be safe. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis agreed, saying, "Going from Kamala Harris's border czar to Tom Homan should be in the dictionary as a textbook example of an upgrade. And by all accounts, the new border czar will be far tougher on the nation's borders than Kamala Harris ever was."
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if it's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Homan has brutally criticized illegals throughout the election campaign, like at the RNC, where he said the drug smuggling cartels will be wiped off the face of the earth.
You better start packing now. You're damn right. Because you're going home. I got another message. Another message to the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggled enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization. He's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done.
He also clashed with AOC over illegals.
I separate that.
Mr. Homan, with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you enter the country illegally is violation of 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
When you want to seek asylum, go to the port of entry, do the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
And he has come out of the gate firing, laying down the law on Fox News.
I've seen some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way, they're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion. If you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, but we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send in New York City.
Hit the like and subscribe button. Follow my new channel, Travel and Trash Talk. That's where I mostly go live.
Seems to be coming around to the appointment, with CNN senior political commentator Scott Jennings in favor of Mr. Homan.
Well, first of all, I think Mr. Homan is the exact right choice, and I'm glad the president has moved on that so quickly because it was such a big part of his campaign. Number two, look, there's a whole bunch of people in this country that don't need to be here. In fact, there's, I think, 1.3 million people who've already received deportation orders from federal courts. They've already had due process. They need to leave, and so there's a good place to start.
But Ana Navarro from The View wasn't so convinced, slamming the appointment and saying it will result in mass deportations.
The appointment of Tom Homan today as border czar, and he will be in charge of a mass deportation program, the largest the country has ever seen, they say. And now Stephen Miller, as deputy chief of staff, should let you know that he was absolutely serious. And when you talk about mass deportations, people think, oh, it's just going to be the criminals. There's not enough criminals, aliens in the federal prison system for it to be mass deportations. What it means is grandmothers. What it means is brothers and aunts.
Trump's swift cabinet appointments show the president-elect is ready for business and wants a quick transition back into the White House.
President-elect Donald Trump is preparing for his transition back to the White House. Doug Luzader has the details from Washington.
Well, the president-elect wants to move fast here, and that includes overcoming Democratic opposition to get his team in place without delay.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Donald Trump has been through this before, but this time he's not wasting any time.
What I can tell you is this man is already working around the clock, looking ahead to January 2025.
On social media last night, Trump announced that his former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Tom Homan, would be appointed border czar, in charge of not just border security, but a massive effort to begin deporting illegal immigrants. The New York Post reports that New York Representative Elise Stefanik will be his pick for U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. There will be hundreds of appointments that generally require Senate confirmation, and the new crop of likely Republican leaders wants to move fast as well.
It has to come up with actually 1,200 different appointees who get confirmed by the United States Senate. The Senate will be ready to look at every nominee that he makes.
But even that may not be fast enough. And on X last night, Trump posted that Senate Republicans must move to allow for what are called recess appointments, a way to short-circuit the traditional confirmation process for appointees.
Mr. President, when are you going to talk with Trump on Wednesday?
President Biden, walking along the beach in Delaware yesterday, didn't answer any questions about his upcoming meeting this week with Trump, but it could be an awkward get-together, with the president-elect promising to undo much of Biden's agenda as soon as possible. And that White House meeting will come on Wednesday. That's the same day Republicans are set to vote for a new Senate majority leader.
Comedian Alex Stein is positive on the direction of the country under Trump and says the world will get exponentially better.
No, I did not. And, honestly, Daddy Trump needs to come back. He's coming back. Gas prices are about to get cheap. We don't have to worry about biological men beating women in women's sports. I mean, the world is going to get exponentially better. So if we got to call Donald Trump Daddy,
Hit the like and subscribe button.
this country,
Follow the
and
new
no better
channel,
father than
Travel
Donald
and
Trump.
Travel and Trash Talk.
Now, top of the list of real problems that Trump may well move on is immigration. It could be his first major legislative initiative. And given that this crisis has been evolving over the years, I wanted to kind of break down how we got here, okay? Kind of looking at the last three presidents as what they faced when they came in and what they did with that, all right? Let's start with border crossing. So let's get the graphics going. Obama, we'll start with him. He left office.
The U.S. will never leave NATO. I'm sorry.
In Trump's first year, border crossing
We can at least get out of
to a record
Ukraine.
low of 300,000. Why? Tough talk on immigration, which served as a deterrent. In his last year, and then he had the home country agreements where he was facilitating deals where people kept processing in their own borders, within their own borders. His remain in Mexico, pressuring Mexico to put troops on the border with Guatemala and the border with the U.S. His last year, border encounters were at 400,000, okay? Now, why'd they go back up? Because the demand returned, okay? Now, you go to Biden. And Trump had set up Title 42, okay, which slowed down asylum because of the pandemic. That helped. In Biden's first year, though, border crossings skyrocketed to 1.7 million. Why? Wasn't talking tough about immigration, much more welcoming. There was a lot more instability in Latin America. There was a stronger U.S. economy post-COVID. Don't sleep on COVID as a factor in this. People weren't coming here because they were afraid of getting sick, or they were sick, and there weren't the same jobs, okay? And that was a big factor in suppressing the demand when Trump was in office, okay? Now, with a stronger economy, without COVID, you see crossings are like 5 times higher than when Trump left office. So what has he done? He has pledged to deport millions of illegal immigrants from the country. So let's compare how each president handled deportations. Obama's administration
Donald
deported
J.
240,000
Dictator.
migrants in 2016. but their
Hell
enforcement policy
yeah. We love
focused,
Donald
as
J.
does
Dictator.
Biden's, on targeting criminals, not just those who only cross illegally. When Trump took office, his administration adopted a zero-tolerance policy, meaning everybody is seen as the same level of transgression, allowing immigration officials to deport anyone who crossed illegally. By 2019, deportations had reached a high of 267,000. During his last year, mostly due to COVID, again, they dropped. Biden takes office, his administration issues new guidance to the agents, telling them to target migrants who pose a national security or public safety threat. Okay, kind of like Obama, but maybe even more selective. Deportations, therefore, plummet because you're looking for a smaller band of people. 59,000 in his first year. Just recently, the Biden administration changed its enforcement policies, allowing agents to target migrants who also cross the border illegally. Deportations, of course, pop to 140,000. Migrants are coming to this country knowing that if they come and claim asylum, they can stay thanks to, in my opinion, a broken asylum system. 3 million migrants have pending cases. They wait on average 4 years just to get an asylum hearing, and remember, they're almost all released on their own recognizance, catch and release. So why would you come back if you know you're going to get thrown out? And that is what the system experiences. The question now is, what can Trump do to solve this crisis? And we have somebody who does not fit into the definition of people who are a head scratcher as to why they've been given the position by Trump they've been given. The man that we have tonight is arguably better than any man he could have picked within his reach, okay? Incoming border czar, Tom Homan. It's good to have you, Tom.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
The way I laid it out, pretty straight?
Yeah, there are a few things I disagree with you with, but I think it's more important, and you look at the numbers on the Biden administration, I care more about the numbers he released in the country more than I care about the deportation, because he released millions of people into the country where President Trump didn't.
And that is because, and please feel free to correct whatever assertions I made you don't agree with, you're the boss. But that is because Biden changed the definition of who the men and women doing enforcement should be looking for, correct?
Well, that'd be ICE. He has changed the definition of who ICE should be looking for. He's made it clear, Secretary Mayorkas made it clear to ICE that being in the country illegally on its own without a criminal charge, if you're not a public safety threat or a national security threat, you're off the table. So they changed who ICE was looking for. But as far as the Border Patrol, they went from ending catch and release that the Trump administration had to releasing millions of people to the country. That's really the difference. And I blame that on ending the policies that were proven effective.
Guys, that's it.
Look, I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. I've seen hundreds of policies come and go.
Guys, that's it for today. So I need you to hit the like and subscribe button and check out my other channel, Travel and Trash Talk. Travel and Trash Talk. We'll be going live on there soon. So go follow my other channel, Travel and Trash Talk.